Jai, you're live with Eric and V. How are you doing?
Hee. Oh, I'm so happy. Hello, Eric, and hello, V.
Hello.
Hey. Okay, how do we say your name?
Jai.
Jai.
J-A-I.
Okay.
Jai. Yes.
Rock on. What did you want to talk about?
Okay, so I've noticed that you all either get a lot of, like, theists, like Christian-based or Abrahamic-based, or atheists. And I, for the majority of my life, have been more geared towards the New Age beliefs. When I make quotations that you can't see, but that New Age ideology, crystals and magic and studying Wicca and Thelema, some of which those concepts like ceremonial magic and such fall under Abrahamic faith. A lot of times with archangels and all of those things.
Right.
But recently, mostly having been exposed to your show and the atheist experience and always having my own personal doubts, I don't know what classification I would fall into because I'm a person that questions a lot, but I still have an altar. I lean more towards Hinduism. And so because of that, my altar is mostly full of Kali, which I do not view as a multi-armed woman in the sky that tells me how to do things, but more of the archetype of time. So because I see you doing your little bounty things, I'll now pose you a question, which is how does one reconcile that? I talk with a lot of New Age people, and they throw a lot of that pseudoscience at you. And you say, okay, well, how do you know your house is haunted? How, you ask these questions, and they would just want you to pull out tarot cards and tell them. It's a similar psychosis for Christians, but it's like almost the opposite spectrum. So how would I approach that? That's kind of what I'm looking for, is that like just a quick little blurb on being formally religiously involved. And I know, V, I made notes. V, you mentioned earlier the scientific pantheism that you were associated with, that you made that step through. More like a little more on how you made that step. Like from full atheist, from the idea of like, my friends with crystals are okay. Or I can let them live in their fantasy world and not feel a need to just destroy the fact that they're not really Hufflepuff.
I love this
sort of
question.
idea.
I'm so excited by this question. Thank you for calling in. So I don't know now this is going to get me in trouble with atheists and witches alike.
We're going to get so many emails.
So many emails.
Yes. If any of them saw this here, they would be
yes.
with me too.
So, Jai, I also have an altar in my apartment. Shocker.
You can send your emails to tv@atheist-community.org.
Or exchange pictures.
Yes. No. So here's the thing. People have ritual in their life for a reason. And there are things that we do that trick our brain into feeling better about things. When I am stressed or anxious, I meditate, I light candles, I might chant. I have rituals that I practice. And because of the different tools that I use, I call myself witch, because not only is it a politically charged term that I enjoy throwing at people, but it's also about the tools you use. It's the same reason you would call yourself a silversmith versus a metal worker, right? So it's about the tools you use. It's about the mindset. No, I don't believe in magic or spirits or demons or archangels or any of that other stuff. I will do tarot, not to tell the future, not to predict anything, but because it helps me to get out of my own head if I'm forced to look at a situation in a new way. That's it. It's like therapy, but with picture cards. So there are tools that we've learned to use and that we know work relatively well. Maybe not the best, but it helps me, and it makes me feel better about things. And I have lots of blog posts on this, actually. Confessions of an Atheist Witch is the one that will come up if you type Atheist Witch into Google. And again, lots of hate mail from both sides, but also a lot of people who are curious about this exact same thing. Can I perform these rituals in a way that makes sense to me and helps me in my day-to-day life without buying into the mumbo jumbo and buying into pseudoscience? Yes, there is. I think there is a way to do that. Whether or not you should then go and tell all of your crystal-using friends that they are crazy is another matter. I don't necessarily see that as harmful unless they're using it in a way that contradicts with medical science and are substituting it for actual therapy or actual medication or anything like that. If they like to have a rose quartz in their pocket to play with, that's fine. If they're using it to cure a disease or they're using it to tell the future or whatever it is that they're doing, then maybe confront them about that. But I think the point is that I'm trying to make, we have tools that we use for all things. For me, I have tools that help me to feel grounded, that help me to feel at peace, to help me feel confident in who I am. And these are things that I was told when I first left Christianity that I'd never be able to feel again. These are things reserved for the church. These are things reserved for worship services. And that's not true. These are things that we actually can measure in the brain, and we understand how they're useful. Do you know how you maybe you don't like going on roller coasters, but you know how people love roller coasters? Because they have the ability to feel those feelings of adrenaline, of cortisol, of all of these chemical rushes in their brain. And we don't get that in our day-to-day life because we're not running from tigers right now, right? It evolved for a purpose. And now we get to use it for fun because we've evolved as a society, as societies in general, to not have to deal with that on the day-to-day. It's a physical thing that we can evoke if we want to take pleasure in it. The same goes for the concepts of spirituality, I would say. That's what that is. It's using tools, it's evoking those feelings in your brain that are measurable, that are trackable, that are 100% natural to make yourself feel better. And as long, this is the caveat, as long as you are not imposing it on anybody else or using it in a way that contradicts with science and in a way that may harm you or other people, I say go for it.
I'm going to chime in just a little bit.
I don't mean to interrupt you, Eric. Go ahead, Eric.
Okay, so there's a difference between atheism and skepticism. I think so long as you're practicing skepticism, that would be my caveat. And
right, of course. Of course.
Then we're in agreement there. There are plenty of...
It would be sort of like a skeptical pantheist in a way. But I agree with B more. All of my beliefs...
Hold on. There's a little bit more. There's a little bit more. Sorry, man. But so one of the things that I want to address...
I you for misgendering, but that's okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jai.
It's an Asheville thing.
Gotcha. Sorry, that threw me off.
No, okay,
So hold on just a second. When we're talking about skeptically taking a look at ritual, there are so many things that we do.
Sorry to throw you off.
No, it's all good. I'm sorry that I misgendered you.
You made two differentiations between skepticism and atheism.
Yes.
Where you go.
And what I want to bring up is secular ritual because it does the same thing. Mm-hmm. I used to clean my room as part of what I would do if I'm feeling really chaotic. And then I saw Jordan Peterson screwed that. So now I clean the kitchen. And there are things that we do.
He screws everything.
Right. There was someone in the live chat that said, I have a booze altar. That's probably not as healthy of a method of learning to cope and do all of that. But if it works for you, what is important to me is that we're using good tools. If you're doing something because it makes you feel good, it's the same reason you go and dance or go out or, have a preference in music or color or whatever that is. Those subjective things, that's great. So I'm not jumping in and poo-pooing. I'm just being very, very clear.
Oh,
and
yes.
Also,
yes.
There are tons of people who walk out of religion and because of the trauma that they've experienced, become triggered. You hear that kind of music and it's like, oh my gosh, I'm back there. Mm-hmm. And it can be very difficult for a lot of people to experience that kind of ritual, that kind of feeling and not relate it to trauma.
Right, exactly.
And I think that was actually a conversation that we had is, for me, when I go back and I try that kind of stuff, it just takes me back to that religious place that gives me the heebie-jeebies. And I have talked to a lot of people who said, well, no, it's bad because it gives them the heebie-jeebies. But that doesn't make the ritual itself bad. It makes the experience around it traumatizing.
Right. If you are being skeptical and you are not relying on pseudoscience, I don't see a reason to get rid of cultural ritual. You don't need supernatural beliefs in order to benefit from it. You don't need supernatural beliefs in order to utilize it for your own purposes. And my last thought for you, Jai, is that I would not advocate calling yourself a pantheist. I don't think that that's a useful term. I think that it's honestly kind of a nonsense word. But my whole thing, and again, I keep pitching this random 2020 date of something I'm going to do someday. My whole thing is that I don't want people to have to feel like if I call myself atheist, then I have to give up my ability to feel these feelings. You do not. You can be an atheist and you can also feel all of the same beautiful, wonderful, warm, fuzzy feelings that you felt when you believed in whatever it is you believed. It's just a matter of learning how to play with your own brain.
Yeah. Maybe.
I don't want to take too much time, but you did mention things on medical aspects. And the town that I live in has a very large percentage of acupuncture clinics. And they do very much sell that idea of we can cure your disease. You have, or dietary things. Being vegan is hugely popular here. We have more health food stores than regular grocery stores in this town. Again, I call it the Austin of the South. So approaching those types of people, that same belief system is so adamantly cemented into them in the way that Christianity is, that they have this I don't want to use the word bias exactly, because they'll be seemingly open, but then you can tell you're not changing anything.
Yeah.
That no matter what science you throw at them, any of these things, and many of them are making people's lives more unhealthy. Whether it's via tarot cards, which you mentioned, and I own a deck of the toss deck, but and I use in the same way you did. Like everything you said is very much where I come from.
Mm-hmm.
And much like when you're sort of agnostic and you believe there is a God but not to be worshipped, approaching those people is very difficult. There's the same wall that's up that you find with Christianity. And so just any sort of direction, maybe leaving with this is how you might approach really trying to influence a person that belief system is equally destructive as some of the Christian belief systems or Abrahamic faith-based ones.
Yeah. I think, first, just quick clarification. I think we both wanted to jump on that. Just super quick. Agnostic doesn't necessarily, that's not the best definition for that, but just...
Oh, I was being, I can wholly agree with that.
We're on the same page.
I was in a ramble, so it just kind of jumped out.
No worries. That was mostly for our viewers.
Yeah.
But
we're going to get enough email.
Yeah, right.
I mean, not agnostic, but the two terms confused in my brain. Anyway, go on.
So my one caution there would be, I don't think trying to influence people is the best way to make inroads with them. Do you know anything about street epistemology? Have you looked into that at all?
Into what?
Street epistemology.
No.
Okay, great. That is a great place to start. I highly recommend you check out Anthony Magnabosco's channel. He does some really cool stuff where he has an entire structure of how you talk to people with differing beliefs in order to get them thinking about what it is they believe and why. And it's non-judgmental, and it really forces them to think. And it's kind of this really awesome back and forth that doesn't make them clam up and feel self-conscious or attacked. I think approaching things that way, both with theists and Christians and with people who maybe have bad ideas about what counts as medicine, I think that's probably your best bet, I would say.
Actually, I was messaging with Anthony this morning.
Yeah.
Did you get it?
I did get it, yes.
Yes.
We can't share it yet.
We can't share it. Okay. Never mind. Go to Anthony's channel and subscribe because there's
Yes.
cool stuff upcoming. I'm saying that.
No, but I think that's
I want to end my call on a compliment for the two of you, since I know you have other calls. Before you picked up, I was experiencing a nervous feeling that I can only make akin to when I met John Waters. And as a performer, that was a huge thing for me. So you guys gave me butterflies, sitting
Aw.
That's
Yeah.
so
like
sweet.
waiting
Thank you.
anxiously. It was the same thing when I attempted to talk to Matt, but I never could. So, but you literally gave me butterflies like I was meeting a celebrity. So
Aw, shucks.
like positive.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much for calling in, Jai.
You're very welcome, and thank you for taking my call and answering so succinctly.
For sure.
Absolutely. All right, take care.
Oh.
I'm going to get so many hate emails.
Yeah,
I'm
right?
going to get so many hate.
So, like I said, you do not need to send anything to mail@talkheathen.com. No.
v@atheist-community.org. I will take you on.
Oh. v@atheist-community.org. V will take you on. I'm so not interested. Actually, kind of to tie in, I did want to bring this up. I'm retweeting it out right now, live on the air. This person tagged me in on Twitter, and they had this suggestion. It's an emergency box. It's the idea of when you're really feeling depressed and sad to fill a box with your favorite things. And, an example is an MP3 player of your favorite music, thing. And, it's funny that it just seems so basic, but gosh, that's a good idea. And I haven't done something like that. So basic as it is, it's something that I haven't thought to do. I'm going to be making my own emergency box this week. But I just tweeted it out. If you want to see that article, you can go to my Twitter. I would give you my Twitter if I knew what it was. Do you know what my Twitter is? At Dirty Heathen.
Dirty Heathen.
There we go.
You are not on Twitter enough, man.
I'm working on it.
It's okay. I'm catching up to your follower count, so you can chill for a
Okay,
while.
hold on. Are we? Is there still? Do I still have a lead on you on Twitter?
You've got about 100 on me.
About 100.
Yeah.
What's your Twitter?
At Author Confusion. It's on you
Don't
guys.
let V beat me. I'm such an ass. I'm sorry.